Welcome back to hopefully another race day video. Keyword is hopefully, because at this point in time, I'm not super optimistic. It's kind of smoky. So it is currently Wednesday. I'll be running Thursday. Wednesday, they canceled racing because of poor air quality, because unfortunately Canada is still dealing with wildfires, and so the air changed and wind moved, and now we got bad air. Anyway, I've been in it too long if that hasn't been obvious enough. So I'm an hour south of the racetrack. They canceled today. They'll make the official call tomorrow morning on whether or not they're going to cancel. It is smoky here. Like, it is. I honestly think it's worse this time than it was back a couple weeks ago. So at this point in time, I'm thinking they're probably going to cancel unless something happens overnight that gets all this smoke out of here. I guess we'll see. There is a chance of thunderstorms this weekend, so I think in the back of our brains, they're like, hey, maybe this storm system coming in is going to boot this stuff out of here a little quicker. I don't know. I figured just in case, I'll cover my bases and we'll talk about it anyway. So, you will be seeing this if we run. It's going to be Peach again. I know in my last video, I said she would be running again in about 4 to 6 weeks. It's been 3. So that kind of makes sense. She kind of only ran like 4 or 5 furlongs last time anyway, out of 8. It was like a glorified daytime workout. So yeah. So she wasn't even tired at all. She was bouncing on the way back to the barn. I was like, I see how it is. Anyway, same conditions. There's actually going to be 4 other horses from the exact same race that she ran in last time. That'll be joining her again. Same conditions, a mile on the turf. So it's also another big field. There's 12 horses with 4 on the also eligible list. So it's a packed thing. I don't know. I just want the same things from last time, really. I just want her to finally have a good experience. For the love of God, this poor filly. Like, when you look at her race record, she's been like next to last, 4th, last. But if you look at almost every single one of them, she's had a valid excuse of why she didn't run well. Either it being traffic trouble, or she got bumped at the start and then got bumped again later on, and then she got pinched at one point, or she had a bad ride, or this happened. It's just been back to back. So for once, I just want her to have like an uncomplicated, easy trip. That's all I want for her, just to finally have a good experience. And also, like, in turn with that, like to see, a little bit of improvement, but just really good. I think if she could have just a good trip, she would finally get that improvement that we've been sitting there waiting for. And then also, I just don't want her to be claimed, because this is technically a claiming race. So now, unfortunately, we messed up on my end. My father had went to the track to pay a bill, and I had told him, I was like, hey, when you go there, don't forget to tell the trainer, or just ask the trainer about taking the blinkers off on that filly the next start. And he said, okay. And he went down there, and I guess they got to doing whatever, and he just forgot. And so I got the entry, and I was scrolling through, and I asked him, I was like, hey, what did he say about blinkers or whatnot? Because I don't see that there's an equipment change on her for the next race. And he's like, I forgot. I was like, you forgot? I give you one job, sir. So anyway, I messaged him. I was like, hey, we forgot to say something because we're dumb. But I know it's probably too late to take the blinkers off now. Is there any chance that the next race we take them off? And so he said, or if we're running her in them in this race, can we put cheaters on? Cheaters are kind of just, they're like more like yay rather than yay. And so he said, well, this is what we'll do for this time, because it is a little bit too late. We'll put blinkers on, but we'll put blinkers on to have holes in them so that she has a little more vision that way. Because for those of you who don't know what blinkers, the purpose for blinkers is basically to kind of limit vision. And so it's to keep them kind of looking forward. But for her, and I've said this since she was a yearling, I thought she's always, because I've watched, you watch them out in the field all the time. She always has been the type of horse that is constantly waiting for the other horses to kind of come up with her. And you can't do that when you have blinkers on. They just kind of pass you. You can feel them, but they just kind of pass you. There's not so much of them being right here. And so she's always been the horse that waits for them to be right there before going. And so I've always been like, take off her blinkers. So he said, anyway, he said that a little too late. So he'll put the blinkers on that has holes in them. Hopefully they'll help. And then next start, we'll chuck them off and see how that goes. Because anyway, so that is on that end. I'll talk a little bit about the field. I'm out of breath. It's smoky. I'll talk a little bit about the field, kind of just in a really short, same thing I did last time, just give you a bunch of numbers that I think will do better than us, which will be a lot. There's a lot of horses in this stupid field. We are the 6th horse, so I think, yes, maybe. I think we're the 6th. So we're on the inside this time, not the outside. So we won't be carried wide, maybe, the whole time. I don't know. So anyway, I am going to finish cleaning stalls and get water. Because it's so smoky right now. It's insane. So once I am in air, I will talk about the field. So apparently we are racing. I guess, I don't know. Some of this behind me, I know my window's dirty. We ain't gotta judge. Some of it's smoke, but a lot of it's also moisture in the air. There's been thunder going on like every 5 minutes, but I don't know what's happening. But place is an hour away, so I really don't entirely know. I know I've been told it's smoky, but it's not terrible, and that there's weather in the area. So I don't know. Anyway, at a very quick glance of the still full field, because it doesn't look like anything's scratched. What did I say? 2, 9, 11, 12 were interesting, I guess. Yeah, it's kind of it. I want food again. It's that time of day though. I always tend to want food. So I guess let's go.
They're at the post. And they're off for the lead. Down on the inside is Midnight Favorite. In between runners is In Open Court. Smack dab in the middle is Bird Set Free. Dropping over to the rail, that's In a Peach as it passes Sands for the first time. And Bird Set Free shows away. Midnight Favorite dropping over the rail. In Open Court as the fillies make their way into the first turn. And still with the lead on the inside is Midnight Favorite, running right in lockstep with Bird Set Free. A gap of 2, back to In Open Court in third. To the outside, Saint Sister in fourth. About a half length back on the outside is In a Peach in the 5th spot. Scooting up the inside rail is Blue Tornado. Opening quarter of 23 and 3. About 3 lengths back to the outside is Story Channel. Down on the inside we have Gamby in the orange cap. And trailing the field is Isabella Bella. A half on the board of 47 and 4 as they run down the back stretch. And they're duking it out on the front end. Midnight Favorite closest to the rail. To the outside is Bird Set Free. 2 lengths back to Saint Sister. Poised to pounce. Down on the inside is In Open Court. To the outside is In a Peach as they come spinning out of the turn. And Midnight Favorite and Alex Achard now hangs 2 on the field and says, catch me if you can. It's Midnight Favorite. Shows him in. Owns it now by 2.5 lengths. Laying in second on the inside is Bird Set Free. From the back of the pack coming on and rolling, that is Saint Sister. But they got to catch Midnight Favorite, and Midnight Favorite made easy work of this field. Midnight Favorite is a Made No More. Running second In a Peach. Going to be tight for third between Blue Tornado and on the outside, Gamby.
That was so much better. That's what I've been wanting to see. I just wanted her to have a good, clean trip, a good experience, and see something. So that was very, very, very nice. And that was even with all the drama prior to the race. So I'll talk about the race here in a second. Are you okay? He's like, no, it's hot. I'll talk about the race here in a second itself, but leading up to the race, there was actually 2 incidences. So I showed a brief video. The whole paddock was very, very crowded. It was very hard to just kind of get individual film of her because there was so many horses. And there was 2 horses in particular that were acting a little silly. in the paddock. It really wasn't that big of a deal. They were just like, oh, I don't want to put the saddle on. And then when they got the saddle on, they were fine. So that really wasn't a big deal. But they were just clogging up the area. So they were wanting to walk, and you couldn't walk because the horses were clogging the area. Then there was, on the way to the gate, there was a couple of fillies that were just acting not professional and being naughty. The steward scratched one. Either the steward or the vet scratched one. I don't know why, but I just know she was scratched. There was another one who was really acting up, and I was actually surprised they even got her into the gate. She was a problem trying to get into the gate too, because at first she didn't even want to walk on the track, and then she got into the gate, and then she didn't want to get low. It was a whole thing. And then there was another filly that had reared up and fell back, and anytime they do that, it's an automatic scratch. So she was completely fine. All these horses that were acting up were completely fine. But she was scratched as well. So there was a lot of just them acting up in the back. When she was one of the first horses to load in. She had to sit there for about 2 minutes. And apparently the jockey said there was 2 horses in the gate that were acting stupid. That like once they were in there and they were just being like restless and bumping, and it gets loud. And they had to sit there for a long time because one of the other horses didn't want to load, and then another horse didn't want to load, so it was taking a long time. So that was all prior to the race. It was just a lot of horses acting very green is basically what it was. But yeah, I'm going to hopefully, there's like storm clouds incoming, and so I'm like very casually trying to stalk to see how much time I got. Anyway, let me chit chat about the race really quick. Like actually do like a play-by-play like I did last time. And then we'll wrap it up because I actually have to head back to Belterra again tomorrow. It's not for Peach, but I'll be up there again. As a reminder, she is in the 6th hole. This really did take quite a bit of time, which sucks because they get in there and then they get comfortable. So yeah, she breaks slow, as you can see. Definitely takes her a while. She's in the all green silks in this one. She's currently right about there. She's kind of up on the inside, so she's not traveling as wide as she did last time, which is great. We're going to come around this first turn here. There's a lot of horses coming up, some coming wide, but she's sitting fine. This is fine. The jockey did say that he had to stay pretty active on her, so anytime she kind of would like want to kind of slide back, you'll probably see it a little bit here. He kind of just had to remind her, hey, stay forward. We have a job to do, which is, you know, pretty about even to her personality. And we're going to lose them here in a second. But she is kind of sitting, if you see where the 4 is, she's sitting right next to the 4 as of this point. So she's sitting a lot closer to the pace than she was last time. She's outside. There's not necessarily a lot of traffic in and around her. Actually, it says the 11 that's currently in front of her is the one that was being very ornery earlier in the day. The 2 is one of them that I said I thought was probably the one more likely to win, and she's definitely going to take this gate to wire. She is in between horses at the moment. She's a bit behind both of them, and you'll see as she comes around this turn, we're finally going to get a little nudge to go. Again, so much better. No traffic trouble, no bumping, no pinching. Kept her kind of toward the middle, nice clear path, and here we go. Finally, she sees this horse on the inside of her, and she tries to go with her, and she outkicks her and outpasses her. The horse on the outside was, I think, the favorite at the time. She also kicked away from her, so this was nice. This was a good effort, nice closing second. Very, very pleasantly surprised. I have no complaints about this one. So yeah, that was so much better. I'm very, very proud of her. She tried. She had a good, clean race. That's all I wanted for her, and she didn't get claimed. So all 3 good things, all 3 things that I wanted happened. I mean, if I really want to be nitpicky, like she definitely needs to break a little faster out of the gate. She's definitely a little slow out of the gate. But that's just being nitpicky. I'm not like, I'm thrilled. I'm happy. I'm satisfied. That is fine. So this time she came off of a break. It was a 3-week rest between races. Now, granted, last time when she came out of the race, like after they unsaddled her, hosed her down, and they're walking back to the barn, she's out here like, oh, I had a great time out there. I was like, I'm sure you did. This time she was actually like, okay, I'm a little tired this time. I was like, yeah, you tried. It's a little different, isn't it? And so, granted, like they'll get her back to the barn, cool her down, walk her down, ice her leg, blah, blah, blah. Check her, make sure she's all good today and then morning after. She'll just take it easy. They'll hand walk her in the barn. After a couple days, they'll jog her out on the track if she's feeling good. And then they'll go from there on picking her next race. But more than likely, it will be a little bit more of a gap. More about 4 to 6 weeks, like per normal. Because she definitely tried a little bit. So she's probably a little tired this time. Sometimes it takes, especially when it's hot. It was a little smoky down there, but it was mainly hot and humid. And when it gets like that, it's not uncommon for them to lose a bit of weight after a race. And so, yeah. But she was a lot more relaxed in the paddock. She was just more relaxed in general. She looked a little fitter. So, all good things, all good things. In other news, so I am going back up to Belterra tomorrow for my dad's filly. The jockey says, he goes, I'm gonna be very mad if we don't win tomorrow. He really likes that filly. He thinks that she's gonna win. So I don't know. I might film while we're up there for kicks and giggles and just to get practice, I guess. But also, so the jockey also works the horses in the morning for the guy, for the trainer. And he worked Peach's sister out of the gate yesterday. Day before yesterday. And he said, he's like, look, he goes, I don't want to say anything. I really like this filly. He goes, I do like her. She tries and she wants to be good. And she's a lot more competitive than the sister, which clocks. This Peach is a very like, go with the flow. Like, I'll do whatever you want, but I also would like to be sitting in a hammock with like a margarita in my hand. Like, you know, but she'll do it. Like, she's a very big people pleaser. And she likes to do whatever you ask, but she's also very like just easygoing, go with the flow. Mikasa's not. Mikasa actively goes looking for trouble sometimes, and I'm like, you need to stop and keep all 4 legs in the vehicle. So, he worked her out of the gate day before yesterday, and basically said, he goes, you're very close to her first start, and I think she'll do well. So, fingers crossed that will be happening. More than likely, we will be seeing Mikasa make her first start. What's today? It's June, July, August, something of that nature. We'll see. But yeah, also to add to the whole shebang, Ain't Straight is also officially back in training as of Monday. So that means all 3 of my racehorses are officially out at the track, which means that I will have more consistent, more regular videos about racing in general to add to the excitement. These are like, I think the easiest videos to do just because it's, or at least so far, we'll find that out. So yeah, hopefully there'll be a lot more action coming in soon. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. I guess, I'm gonna hurry up and go because storm clouds are getting really close and I don't want to get struck by lightning. So, I will see you all next time.